Welcome back to the Sisuandra Show. Thank y'all for sticking with us. We are about to dive into our next segment called Just Being Honest. Yes, I'm still sitting here with Dr. Jeffrey Redding, and here to join us, we have Natasha Ikis-Simon, who is an amazing soul, and we'll sit down a little later and chat with her. This part of the show is an open discussion between my guest and myself, and the topic of discussion today is, when did you find your key to happiness? Let's start with you, Natasha. When did you find your key to happiness?
You know, it's ironic because I found my key to happiness when I was at my lowest moments. I think after spending years literally homeless, addicted, just at the lowest of the lows, when I had nothing else and no one else to turn to, that's when I really strengthened and deepened that connection with God. And from there, everything else fell into place. When I knew to follow God, my passion and my purpose, happiness just came.
That's amazing. Wow. And Dr. Redding?
I want to echo that because I feel the exact same way. Oftentimes when you're low, that's when you look up.
Yeah.
So, but also I want to add this to it for a little caveat. The key also changed. I have key moments of happiness, key moments of happiness. But then as I grow and as I change, I realize that the key sometimes shift and what I need because I grow.
Yeah.
And so therefore I have that root, that foundation. But I'm also looking to grow from it because I've changed. I'm the same kid I was 20 years old.
Correct.
Or 30, or
Correct.
40. So.
But the constants in our lives is our faith,
Absolutely.
our belief in God. Those
Yes.
moments of happiness, those key moments are the constants.
Yeah.
But as we evolve as human beings,
Exactly.
as Michelle Obama says, we are becoming.
Yes.
And we're always becoming.
Yeah.
So the person that you with, they're becoming too. And sometimes
Absolutely.
you don't become together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But
so
sometimes,
true.
and sometimes you must allow yourself to be taught, and you must allow the consequences to come. Because if you learn from them, you don't repeat them. Oftentimes, life is funny. You go through the same thing over and over again until you learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn.
Yes.
Therefore, if I put my hand on the stove and it's really hot, consequences instruct. It'll take me one time to get burned to realize
Correct.
I cannot go back there.
Correct.
If not, I'm going to do it again and again and again, and I have not learned. Therefore, I haven't grown.
Do you think people find some form of happiness in the repeated toxicity? Come on.
I don't see it. But
Natasha.
again, I don't know.
I don't even know if it's necessarily happiness, but I think that people can get comfortable in anything. And so you just get used to constantly arguing, or you get used to fighting, or you get used to just these negative, uncomfortable
It becomes a
situations.
norm.
Yeah.
It becomes your norm. And to touch on that, it's also really comfortable too. Like if somebody, let's say somebody is getting high on drugs, you're going to feel more comfortable around other people doing the same thing. But if you're made or forced to be put into people in a different space that are doing bigger things and better things, you're forced to look at yourself in the mirror because you're seeing people that are doing greater.
Right.
Is that
And
where
you're
you
like-
found
That's true.
yourself, Natasha? Because I know your history, and you were saying
Yeah.
you found God when you were at your lowest moment from addiction and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Is that the same situation?
Yeah, I mean,
for
I
you?
definitely, my friend circle changed, right? The people I was around, the people that didn't challenge me, that didn't tell me to do better, to speak better, to live better, to do more, right? People that made me feel okay, just being, status quo or lower than that, actually. But it was when I got pregnant. And that's when I just had that decision to make.
Yes.
Either I'm going to continue barreling down the wrong path, or I'm going to choose to create a different life for myself and for my children and for my family. And that was the turning point for me.
An intentional decision.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Redding, tell me this.
Yes.
Have you found, what is your happiness now? Have you found your key to happiness
Yes.
at this time in
At
your
this
life?
stage in my life, I'm learning to love me
Ooh,
first.
That's important.
First and foremost, because if I love me, because I'm perfectly imperfect, I love me.
Yes.
It gives me the capacity to love others.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
It's so true.
And so that's where I am at this stage in my life. On this day, I'm learning to love me
To love you.
and give.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And what about you, Natasha?
I think for me, it's my faith. It's just knowing that I can be happy when things are going good, when things are going bad, when the unexpected is happening, because I truly feel like everything is happening for a purpose. So even if it's not the way I envisioned it, I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be better. Even if I
Yes.
have to cry it out, even
Yes.
if I'm screaming,
Yes.
it's going to be okay.
You know,
because
in
I'm going to
the
look back.
end,
Yeah, it's like,
yes.
okay, that happened for a reason.
'Cause
So
this
it
too shall
allows me.
pass.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
This too shall
And you
pass.
feel good in the
Absolutely.
moment that it's
Yeah.
okay.
That
You
is so
can't
true.
always be on a high.
We cannot, but we have to count it all joy,
Yes.
even when the bad,
But
the
it's not
craziness
reality.
comes.
People
Right.
people think growth, oftentimes I hear people think growth is this.
Yep.
Literally is this.
Yep.
Yes, it's true.
Yes.
And everything has an emotion attached to it.
Yes.
And so it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah. And so,
So listen,
yeah.
I just hate to end this conversation. It's been so awesome sitting here talking to both of you. I always ask my guest for a quote. Dr. Redding, would you please share one of your profound, prolific quotes with us from your podcast or something you share with your students at UCF?
Oh my goodness. For my students at UCF, I mean, for everyone, if I'm working with a choir, I tell them to sing to inspire, not to impress.
I love that.
Sing to inspire, not to impress. Our podcast, the Red and Green, the podcast, it's a table talk, and so we have all kind of quotes, and we.
That's awesome.
And I'll talk about it in a second, but yeah.
Yes.
sorry.
Do you have a quote for our viewers really quickly?
I was like,
Natasha?
well, okay, so faith without works is dead. That was
Yes.
the one that popped in my
Right.
head immediately. But I didn't prepare this, but if you combine your passion, your purpose, and an intense will to succeed, everything is possible.
I
Everything's
love
possible.
that.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to say bye for now, but we're going to be back with good trouble. Don't y'all go nowhere.